Think about your first birthday. There was cake. There were people singing. Someone probably caught the whole thing on camera. You were there. You were fully awake, fully alive, forming thoughts every single second. And yet you remember none of it. Not 1 second. Why? Most people assume the answer is simple. A baby's brain is small. It's undeveloped. It's basically empty, like a notebook with no pages filled in yet. So of course, there's nothing to remember. That explanation feels obvious. It feels safe. It is also almost completely wrong. Here's the real answer, and it's far stranger than babies just don't remember. Babies do remember. They remember constantly. They form memories every day, sometimes vivid ones. The problem isn't that the memories don't exist. The problem is that you can no longer reach them. Somewhere between infancy and adulthood, an entire library gets sealed shut. And scientists have spent over a century trying to figure out why. The phenomenon has a name: infantile amnesia. The average adult's earliest memory sits somewhere between 2.5 and 3.5 years old. Anything before that is gone. Not fuzzy, not distant. Gone, the way a word disappears the instant before you say it. Sigmund Freud noticed this pattern back in the early 1900s. He called it a kind of psychological forgetting, something the mind buried on purpose. His explanation leaned heavily on repression, on childhood impulses too uncomfortable to keep around. Modern research tells a very different story. The real cause isn't emotional, it's architectural. Picture your brain as a city under constant construction. In the first few years of life, that city is being built at a staggering rate. Somewhere around 700 new neural connections are formed every single second during early childhood. Every second. Roads are being paved, buildings are going up. But here's the catch. A city under that much construction can't also be a functioning archive. There's no stable place yet to file anything away for the long term. Researcher Carolyn Rovee-Collier spent decades studying this exact question using an unusual method. She would tie a ribbon from a baby's ankle to a mobile hanging above the crib. The baby would kick, the mobile would swing, and the baby would quickly learn. Kicking equals movement. Weeks later, she'd bring the same baby back and hang the same mobile. If the baby remembered the connection, it would start kicking immediately. And it worked. Babies as young as 2 or 3 months old showed real memory of the mobile, sometimes for weeks. So the capacity to remember was there. Clearly there. What Rovee-Collier's work revealed wasn't an empty mind. It was a mind that could form memories but couldn't yet hold on to them for years at a time. So what's actually missing? The answer sits in a small seahorse-shaped structure deep in your brain called the hippocampus. Think of it as the brain's filing clerk. Its job is to take a flood of raw experience and stamp it, sort it, and file it into long-term storage. In infancy, that filing clerk is still in training. The hippocampus is one of the last major brain structures to fully mature, and it keeps developing well into childhood. Babies can experience something. They can even hold on to it for days or weeks. But the long-term filing system needed to keep that memory retrievable for decades simply isn't finished yet. There's another piece to this puzzle, and it comes from a surprising place. Neuroscientist Paul Franklin, working with mice, found something that reshaped how researchers think about infant memory. In young, rapidly developing brains, new neurons are being born in the hippocampus at an extraordinary rate. This process is called neurogenesis. It sounds like a good thing, and in many ways it is. New neurons help a young brain adapt fast, learn fast, grow fast. But Franklin's research suggested a strange side effect. All that rapid neuron growth may actually disrupt the neural circuits holding older memories in place. In other words, the very process that makes a young brain so flexible may also be quietly erasing what it just learned, clearing space for what comes next. Your earliest memories may not have faded away. They may have been actively overwritten by the sheer speed of your own growth. There's also the matter of language. Psychologist Patricia Bauer, who has spent much of her career studying how children form and lose memories, found that memory and language development are deeply tangled together. A toddler with barely any vocabulary experiences the world almost entirely through raw sensation, warmth, sound, motion, faces. Without language, there's no easy way to organize those sensations into something